7 o'clock, and we'll call to order our regularly scheduled September 9th Wadsworth City School District Board meeting. If you'll join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Beeman.
Julie Beatty.
Here.
Jill Stevens.
Here.
Tim Beck.
Here.
Gary McComas.
Here.
Connor Gogler.
Here.
And it's our understanding that Amanda Gordon will be joining us tonight, but she will be a little bit late.
Okay. If I could have a motion for approval and signing of our August 12th board meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Beeman?
Jill Stevens.
Aye.
Tim Beck.
Aye.
Gary McComas.
Aye.
Julie Beatty.
Aye.
Thank you. Turning the meeting over to Dr. Hill.
Thank you, President Stevens. At this time, I ask for our students of the month and principals to please make their way backstage. Board, after the Student of the Month presentations, will reconvene on stage here for the discussion items that we have.
Good evening, Wadsworth families. My name is Sanana Kelly, and I am the principal at Franklin Elementary School, and we are so proud to announce that Brooklyn Hoover is September's Board of Education Student of the Month. Brooklyn is truly one of a kind. She makes people's heart burst with joy. She looks out for others and has a deep kindness for those that she loves. Franklin is lucky to have Brooklyn walk through our halls, and those who have her in their lives are even luckier. Brooklyn absolutely loves school. She thinks the teachers are amazing, and there is always something fun happening at Franklin. She enjoys learning everything she can and being with her friends. Some of her favorite memories at Franklin are our STEM days, which in third grade are called Wondrous Wednesdays, and this year, Think Tank Thursday. She also loved that one time her friend's yogurt splattered all over the cafeteria on accident. Brooklyn and her friend laughed about it for a long time. She has an amazing sense of humor. Her favorite subjects are reading and math. Her favorite books are The Night Divided and Dead End in Norvelt. Books take her on amazing adventures that feel so real. She loves math because it comes easy to her, so why wouldn't she love it? Outside of school, Brooklyn loves being a part of Girl Scouts, soccer, and playing with her friends. She also enjoys being with her family and having game nights and movie nights. When she grows up, she wants to be a teacher because she loves helping people, and she has a lot of younger cousins that she helps with picking out outfits or eating dinner. She always has teachers tell her that she will be an amazing leader and teacher one day. When asked who she looks up to most in the world, Brooklyn says her mom. Her mom is a hard worker, and even when she has 1,000 things to do in one day, somehow she accomplishes them. She is so strong, so kind, and so loving, and has amazing handwriting. Brooklyn hopes she can be just like her when she grows up. Here's what Brooklyn's teachers have to say about her. Brooklyn Hoover has been chosen as the Student of the Month for Mrs. Simmons' class. She's made the transition from third grade to fourth grade seamlessly. She follows directions the first time they are given. She puts forth her best effort. Her kindness and caring nature make her a joy to be around, as she is always willing to lend a helping hand to classmates in need. Her sense of humor stands out as she picked up on Mrs. Simmons' sarcastic nature right away. With her leadership skills and positive attitude, we have no doubt that Brooklyn will continue to excel and inspire others. Keep up the amazing work, Brooklyn. Please join me in congratulating Brooklyn Hoover.
Good evening, I'm Joe Shalala, principal at Isham Elementary School, and I'm thrilled to be able to celebrate Wyatt Williams as Isham's September Board Student of the Month. Wyatt's the son of Thomas and Jenna Williams and has 3 sisters, Emma, Peyton, and Ruby. Wyatt's favorite subject in school is math because he said it just makes sense. Wyatt enjoys playing football, baseball, and lacrosse. When asked who he looks up to most, he stated, "My mom and dad." I love his reason here. He said, "Because they're doing their best to raise us as good kids." I think Mom and Dad are doing a great job. I asked him to share an accomplishment that he was proud of, and after thinking for a second, and the way he said it sounded like he just came back from a war, he said, "Making it to 4th grade." So he made it. We're good. When I asked him what something exciting was he was learning this year, he stated, "Learning new ways to do math." And a favorite school memory? Hearing he had Mr. Morrison as a teacher for the 2nd year in a row. Speaking of which, here's what Mr. Morrison had to say about Wyatt. Wyatt's a student that wants to see everyone succeed. He is a leader in the classroom, hallway, and even on the playground. He can be seen teaching others a new skill and working with them until they learn it. He's a student that models all positive character traits. For Wyatt, Student of the Month means working hard and doing your best, and he exemplifies this completely. Wyatt's friends describe him as nice all the time, strong, and I love this word, wholesome. They especially admire him for standing up for others when he sees unkindness. Wyatt will show his leadership abilities as a kindergarten helper and safety patrol member this year. We're so proud of the person Wyatt is and know that our Isham family is better because he is a part of it. Please help me congratulate Wyatt on being Isham's Elementary's September Board Student of the Month.
Good evening. My name is Laura Maslick, proud principal at Lincoln Elementary. It is my pleasure to introduce Bryn Morton, Lincoln's September Board Student of the Month. Bryn is the daughter of Samuel and Courtney and big sister to Carson, who is also here tonight. She has a dog named Sally, 2 cats named Lulu and Luna, and a fish named Ralph. Here's what Bryn's teachers, Mrs. Barker and Miss Sibio, had to say when nominating her. Bryn has already proven that she can be counted on as a dependable and reliable student. She models the Lincoln way with excellent behavior and makes great choices at all times. She's an active participant in daily class discussions and is excited to learn. Bryn's interactions with peers are thoughtful and considerate. She exudes a quiet confidence, but doesn't hesitate to ask questions when necessary. Outside of school, Bryn enjoys soccer, drawing, and spending time with her family. Her favorite color is teal, and her favorite meal is her mom's Alfredo pasta. I'm coming over for dinner, Mom. She's inspired by nurses because of her own experiences when having to go to the doctor. When she grows up, she hopes to pursue a career working with children as a teacher or a pediatric nurse. Bryn's creativity shines through in her love for art and music. She especially likes 3D crafts and working with clay. Something others may not know about Bryn is that she likes to sing, and many people have told her she's a good singer. She's a welcoming and helpful classmate who has already taken on several leadership roles this year, which include taking new kindergarten students by the hand on their first day of school to help them, managing our school's little library, and helping with the morning announcements. Bryn is a bright and compassionate young woman who is positive and has a great influence on our school community. Keep being amazing, Bryn, and always remember that you are smarter than you think, braver than you seem, stronger than you feel, and you can do hard things. Will you help me congratulate Bryn Morton?
Good evening. My name is Dave Ryder, and I am the principal at Overlook Elementary. Jenna Hussein has been nominated for the September Board Student of the Month by her 4th grade teacher, Ms. Gervasi. In her nomination, Ms. Gervasi states, Jenna is a student who consistently goes above and beyond to do her very best. She is a great example of what it means to shine as an Overlook Grizzly. Jenna's mature and kind-hearted demeanor, along with her love for learning, makes her a role model for her classmates. She always goes out of her way to help others and is a friend to all, embodying the spirit of the Overlook community. Jenna's favorite subject is math, as she loves the challenge of solving equations. Currently, she is reading the Babysitters Club series. She has also demonstrated leadership early in the school year as she assists our preschool students during their arrival. Her favorite Overlook teacher is Mrs. Larrabee. Jenna remembers her in second grade for her consistent kindness and care. One of Jenna's favorite Overlook memories was the glow party with Mrs. Fisher in kindergarten, and I have to say that's a pretty good one. Outside of her academic achievements, Jenna enjoys jumping on the trampoline and playing basketball and football. Her favorite food is lasagna, and she loves dining at Katana. She shared an amazing experience recently of visiting Palestine for 3 months, where she met new family members and enjoyed a fun day at a water park with all of her cousins. Jenna, Overlook Elementary is proud of you. Keep up the amazing work. Please join me in congratulating Jenna Hussein, Overlook Elementary September Board Student of the Month.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Hampshire, and I am the very excited and proud principal of Valley View Elementary. We are so pleased to have JJ Shellhorn here today, who has been nominated as our Student of the Month. JJ's parents, Megan and John, have also joined us this evening, and we are excited to highlight him. He has been a role model at Valley View as we have started the year. He came into 4th grade with a positive attitude and was eager to be involved. He's worked hard to learn new routines and schedules, and he's adapted to switching classes and is prepared every day. He works very hard to be safe, kind, and responsible, just like we always do at Valley View. JJ has one older brother, Cole, and he enjoys playing basketball in his spare time. He likes to read graphic novels and is very creative. He's a determined young man and will work hard to achieve his goals. His upbeat personality and his sense of humor are the perfect addition to our 4th grade class and to Valley View. He is also very proud and wanted everyone to know that he has been a leader in the school and has been helping some kindergartners get to and from their classes and to the buses and everywhere else, as he's been a great leader for us. JJ, we are so proud of you. Congratulations on being Student of the Month.
Hello and good evening, Board of Education and Wadsworth Community. I'm Brandon Cobb, Principal of Central Intermediate School. I'm here tonight to celebrate our September Board Student of the Month, Drew Verkler. Drew is the son of David and Betsy Verkler, and he's also here tonight with his siblings. And backstage, we were just talking about the big responsibility he has being the oldest sibling. Drew is a 6th grader and was nominated by his teachers, Mrs. Johnson, Mrs. Dahl, and Mrs. Back. Here's what his teachers had to say. Team Perseverance is pleased to announce Drew Verkler as CIS Board Student of the Month. From day one of the school year, Drew has demonstrated an exceptional level of engagement in his learning. He approaches each subject with enthusiasm, consistently contributing thoughtful insights during class discussions. His preparedness for each lesson is commendable. He arrives with questions and a willingness to explore complex ideas. This level of engagement not only enhances his own learning experience, but also enriches the classroom environment for his peers. Drew's positive energy make him a pleasure to work with. Congratulations, Drew. We are honored to have you represent Team Perseverance and CIS. One last thing I wanted to add. On Friday, Drew performed in front of our entire school. He's great on the piano, and it was what, Spinning Song? He did a great job. Please help me congratulate CIS September Board Student of the Month, Drew Verkler.
Good evening. My name is Chris Roberts, the proud principal of Wadsworth Middle School. And tonight, Wadsworth Middle School celebrates Elena McCabe as our September 2024 Board Student of the Month. Elena is the daughter of John and Jessica McCabe and the younger sister to Claire. And Elena is an exceptional student. She brings enthusiasm and dedication to everything she does. She has a genuine love for learning, especially when it comes to social studies and math. Social studies fascinates her because it allows her to dive into the past and uncover the stories that have shaped our world today. Math, on the other hand, is something she enjoys because it makes sense to her. And she finds it fun to tackle challenging problems and see them through to an eventual solution. One project Elena is particularly proud of is a competitive essay she wrote for her English language arts class, where she researched and explored the important work of supporting military families. Her dedication to this project earned her second place, but more importantly, it gave her a deeper understanding of a cause that she found truly meaningful. When asked about what has contributed most to her success at Wadsworth Middle School, Elena quickly credits her amazing teachers and friends. Upon enrolling to Wadsworth Middle School from Sacred Heart, she found a welcoming environment where her teachers helped her not only learn, but also feel at home. Her friends, including her volleyball teammates, have also been a source of support and motivation. Speaking of volleyball, Elena is passionate about the sport and loves playing as an outside hitter for both her club and school teams. It's clear that her love for the game and her commitment to her team are just some of the ways she shows her dedication outside of the classroom. Elena speaks highly of her older sister, who has been a significant influence in her life. While just 2 years older, her sister Claire has been a role model for Elena, guiding her and showing her the way through her own experiences. Elena's advice to her peers is simple yet powerful. Maintain a good attitude, stay positive, and appreciate everything you are learning. When faced with challenges or setbacks, she relies on the support of her family, takes the time to study, and knows she can count on others for help. One teacher who has made a particularly big impact on Elena is Mr. England. His social studies class has been a highlight of her time at Wadsworth Middle School because of his ability to make the subject both interesting and fun to learn. Elena McCabe truly lives the Grizzly way by being kind, being safe, and being responsible in everything she does. She is a model student who doesn't just complete her work, but goes above and beyond the expectations. Her smile lights up a room. That's your cue. There you go. Creating a positive learning environment for everyone around her. Congratulations, Elena. We are proud of you and all that you have achieved. Keep up the fantastic work. Please help me congratulate 8th grade student Elena McCabe.
Good evening. I'm Vincent Suber, and I'm the proud principal of Wadsworth High School. And we are proudly presenting Cody Barrett as the September Career Tech Student of the Month. Cody is the son of Michelle Hommick, Nick Barrett, Mike Hommick, and Trisha Barrett. He enjoys spending time with his family, particularly playing board games and participating in outdoor activities. Cody has 6 brothers and sisters with whom he especially enjoys participating in these activities. Cody is active in extracurricular activities at Wadsworth High School. He's a member of the Grizzly Bowling Team for 2 years and the book club for 4 years. He has also received the Presidential Excellence Award and is a member of the National Technical Honor Society. Throughout his 4 years at Wadsworth High School and his Career Tech program, Cody has maintained an excellent attendance and earned an impressive 4.01 GPA. Cody is currently enrolled in advanced manufacturing class and has obtained a CPR and OSHA OSHA certifications through the course. Additionally, he has been working at Giant Eagle for the past 2 years while excelling in his programs at Wadsworth High School. After graduating, Cody intends to work as a CNC operator as part of his career tech program. He also has aspirations to pursue a degree in mechanical engineering at either University of Akron or Cleveland State University. To prepare for his major, he is currently enrolled in AP Physics at Wadsworth High School. Please join me in congratulating Cody Baird. And Wadsworth High School is proud to present Allison Bartiromo as September's Student of the Month. Allison is the daughter of Angela and Dave Bartiromo, and she has one older brother, Anthony. As a family, they enjoy playing games, going out to eat, running 5Ks, and just spending time together as a family. Allison is actively engaged in multiple extracurricular activities at Wadsworth High School. She's a member of the Grizzlies cross-country team, swim team, and track and field teams. Additionally, she is a member of Huddle, Peer Mentors, and the National Honor Society. Alice's dedication to her academic pursuits is truly commendable. Throughout her tenure at Wadsworth High School, she has taken 2 advanced placement classes and 9 CCP classes while actively participating in a variety of school activities. This highlights her willingness to strive in excellence in all of her studies. Her exceptional 4.44 grade point average, coupled with her outstanding performance, achieving an A in every high school course she has taken, and rigorous coursework is a testament to her hard work and dedication to her education. Allison has had a positive impact at Wadsworth High School. One of Allison's teachers, Mr. Zach Humerkhauser, had this to say about her. I have had the privilege of coaching Allison for 4 years in cross country and track, as well as teaching her in modern world history. During this time, she has demonstrated remarkable dedication and growth, improving her 5K time from 35 minutes as a freshman to 24 minutes as a senior. Her hard work and perseverance are evident in all aspects of her life, whether it's in the classroom or on the cross-country course, or in any other school activity she's involved in. Allison is truly committed to being the best version of herself and being a positive influence on others. Her positive attitude, determination, strong work ethic make her incredibly deserving of this recognition as Student of the Month. After graduation, Allison plans to attend Kent State University to pursue a degree in interior design. Please join me in congratulating Allison Bartiromo.
Congratulations again to all of our Students of the Month and to family and friends that have come to join them. At this time, the board is going to transition to the business portion of the meeting. While all of you are more than welcome to stay for that part of the meeting, if you're here just for the Student of the Month recognition, please feel free to leave now if you choose to. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, we'll transition into the discussion items and updates. There's 2 discussion items tonight. The first, I think it was in May, you tentatively scheduled a special meeting for September 26th for really 3 different purposes. If you recall, we had to cancel the building tours that were going to occur at 3 of our buildings in May. In addition to that, there's a financial meeting that matters that need to be addressed prior to the end of September that have to wait till close to the end of the month of September for you to be able to take action. That's a yearly thing. And then the final one is right around that time of year. You typically set your goals for the new school year. So we had to tentatively set that for September 26th at noon. I'm aware that there's been a conflict that has arisen for at least one of you, and so wanted to bring that back here for further discussion to see if we can find an alternate date. A couple thoughts before we just turn it over for discussion on the dates. The closer that we can get to September 30th, even if it's on September 30th, I think the more helpful that is for Doug and those in his office that are preparing what needs to happen on the financial side. If we need to have multiple meetings in order to accomplish the building tours, the goals or whatever, that's a possibility too. We don't have to roll it all into one meeting if it's hard to find a time frame in order to accomplish what needs to happen with the financial special meeting. So I guess what I would ask is if maybe we could start discussion with Monday, September 30th, whether that date would work at some point in time. Okay. Doug, can you how far back can we go comfortably?
If we can stay in that last week, the 24th or the 25th or the 27th, anything prior before the 24th, we'd probably need to look at having separate meetings. If we can get just enough there to have that meeting to pass those financial reports and then circle back around when everybody can be here for the board tours and goal setting.
Gary, is that week problematic?
I'll be gone from the 20th through the 25th.
Okay.
27th could work, but I know it's a Friday.
So 27th, does anyone have
I'm going the 26th to the 30th, but I can just do the tours and the financial meeting without me. But the 30th would have to be very late, so. And you said the 23rd is too soon. You're out the 20th. You're out the 23rd.
Yeah, I'm gone 23rd, 24th, 25th.
So what are we saying?
Do you want to do the financial meeting with enough of you here on the 25, 26, 27?
Does the 26th at noon, which was originally scheduled, does that work for the financial meeting for the rest of you?
If we're not going to do board tours, we don't want to do it in the evening.
Yeah. And then we can look.
Do we have at least 3 for the 26th? I'm available on the 26th. No?
I can be available.
Okay. The 23rd through the 30th is really bad for me, but depending on what time you guys do it, I might be able to, but I'm pretty up in the air, so. But if we have at least 3.
It sounds like we have 3 on the 26th. Do you want to keep it at noon, or would you prefer to move the time if we're not doing the tours and the goal setting that same meeting?
Noon's fine with me.
I'm still good with noon's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. All right, so we'll go with noon on the 26th. We'll keep that, but for the financial, the main purpose will be the financial. We won't put out a purpose statement till about 2 days before in case other items need to be added for action. Can we then focus maybe into the beginning of October to find a date where we could do tours and maybe the goal setting at the same time?
On the 4th? To Friday?
Would we do afternoon, or is there, I'm not hearing anybody suggest a conflict that day, is morning or afternoon better?
On the 4th.
Either works, morning or afternoon.
Okay, principals whose buildings that we haven't gone to yet, I believe that was Franklin. Trying to remember the other 2. Is there?
They're all outside still.
Okay. Why don't we go with the 4th? And we're going to say noon. Is noon okay?
Yeah.
And we'll make that a meeting, so if you block off maybe 4 hours between the tours and then an hour for the goal setting. Does that roughly work? Just, okay. So Friday, October 4th, starting at noon, and we'll put together a schedule for where we're going to go building-wise in order. We'll do the tours first and then goal setting at the end.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, the other discussion item tonight is in regards to a recently enacted piece of legislation signed into law. It was the House Bill 250. And then also our Board of Education Policy 5136, which is personal communication devices. So a little background here on this. House Bill 250 in the final version that was signed into law. And there's two attachments for you. One is the language from the law, and the other is our current policy. But in summary, House Bill 250 requires boards of education no later than July 1st of 2025 to adopt a policy governing the use of cellular phones by students during school hours. And there's three things that the policy has to do. One is emphasize that student cellular telephone use be limited as much as possible during school hours. Two is reduce cellular telephone related distractions in classroom settings. And then three, recognize that there may be situations, as an example, a student's IEP, individual education program, where a cellular telephone or other communication devices may be needed to monitor for student learning or to monitor or address a health concern. And then there's some other language in here that is also part of the law. What you have, the stuff that's underlined, is the new language that was inserted into the requirement. It's on page 10 and 11 of this. I think the final version of the bill was 48 pages roughly, but 10 and 11 address the requirement. Policy 5136 that you have in front of you is our current policy that addresses personal communication devices. The policy was last revised November 20th of 2017. Of note within the policy, there's a lot of stuff in here, but we made a choice at that time. The first paragraph you'll see, students may use personal communication devices according to the rules established in their school and identified in the student handbook. So we made a choice at that time, the policy committee did, to recommend to the full board that we kind of defer to student handbooks. As you know, student handbooks go through an official vote by you each year for finalization. That's the way we addressed it. There's other language that's in this policy and outside of the requirements with the statute that we now have to put into place. I'd suggest to you that there's probably some cleanup that could be done to the remainder of the policy as well with what's here to clarify some things. As an example, we recently had a parent questioning their student not being able to wear a two-way communication device on their wrist as a watch. There's a provision in the policy that was added years ago to avoid those type of things where someone could enact and listen in other stuff unless there's been a request in writing to the principal and it's been approved by the superintendent. And we do have some situations over time that align with IEPs and other reasons that that's happened. But since that provision went into place, there's a lot of changes that have happened with the phone watches and other stuff that weren't in place back then, that some language revisions would probably be helpful for. So I think the point of the discussion tonight, and it can just be an initial point of discussion, was to bring this to you to, I guess, find out, do we believe our current policy complies with the new law requirement? And then in addition to that, are there other parts of the policy that we want to have discussion on? In regards to that first question, a couple more things I'll share and then we'll turn it over for discussion. In regards to the first part, are we in compliance with law? I would make an argument to you that I think the policy as it stands probably is in compliance with the law, those 3 points. But I think there's language that could make it clearer. As an example, where we say rules established in their school and identified in student handbook, we could add in language that would clearly emphasize that those rules have to limit use as much as possible during school hours and eliminate distractions or reduce cellular telephone related distractions in classroom setting. That's just an example of how we could strengthen it to clearly be in compliance if it's not already. In relation to everything else, I know that some of you have received questions that you've asked me about some changes at the high school in particular with language that was approved with cellular devices. And so I wanted to just give you a quick overview on where we currently stand. So a number of years ago, sometime around 2013, we as a district moved in a direction to allow personal devices because we did not have a one-to-one initiative at the time with district-issued devices. And so we allowed it in places, I believe our initial venture into this involved red, green, and yellow zones throughout buildings at the intermediate school through the high school. Over time, we've developed a one-to-one initiative, as you're well aware. Intermediate school through high school get issued a Chromebook. They take home. Grades below that, either at the K1 level, have an iPad that's kept in the classroom, or at the 2-4 level, a Chromebook that is. But it's a one-to-one, basically, for each student with devices the district owns. Since that time, the intermediate school and the middle school have moved to a model where students are permitted to have a cellular device in school, but it has to be kept locked up in their book bag. Book bags at those two buildings have to be in their lockers. They're not carried on their person when they're in the building. The only exception to that would be, or there's two. One would be a teacher wants to utilize those communication devices for some educational purpose. There are some apps and other things that Chromebooks don't do. Or there's something like an IEP that requires monitoring other stuff, and we work with that as noted. At the high school level, what's going on this year at the high school, I would tell you, is very similar to what I just shared about the intermediate and the middle school. The difference is that at lunchtime, students are permitted to use their cellular device. And at the high school level, they allow backpacks to be carried during the day. So a student could have their device in a backpack, and that's in compliance with the rules that are there. I think it's also worth noting that there's no location where students are walking in where people are making them empty pockets or other things. If somebody has a device on them, really the only way that we're going to know they have a device is if they're choosing to use it at a time that is not allowed, and then it becomes something that gets handled through the school discipline system. So that's kind of a quick overview of where we are with all of this at the levels where we've allowed and then not allowed various times throughout the years. And so really want to turn this over to you. You specifically asked for the conversation to happen at a meeting rather than go through the policy committee. And so I just want to turn it over to you for thoughts, questions, or other things. I would tell you that there does not have to be decisions made tonight. If there's things that need to be looked into, language you want to see, we can bring those back for further discussion. We have until July 1st of 2025 for you to adopt a policy if we determine what we have isn't enough to comply with the law. And other changes, if there's feedback that's needed from building level, from students, from teachers, from the administration, we can gather whatever it is you would like to see in relation to whatever that is. So there's no sense of act quickly tonight unless you choose to.
There's an article that I read, I think it was from May, that stated that we would be districts would be seeing a sample language to the new policy for districts to look at to, fine tune on their own. Is that something that I don't think has been released yet?
No, the department did release that. It's actually the language that was board approved in the high school handbook very closely mimics the generic policy template that the Department of Education and Workforce released late last spring. There are some unique changes that we made to make sure that that language complied with what I just shared with you in relation to our practices. But that template is out there. That's something that I can make sure to send each of you the link to so you can see it. But it is very general.
Okay.
It's a very, very general template.
And right now, our elementary handbooks, there's nothing in them about personal devices being used.
Yeah, can one of our elementary principals address that quickly? How you handle personal communication devices?
Grizzly Academy is a little bit different than the others. We have it that if they bring them, they have to be turned into the office throughout the day and then given to that next At Lincoln, if students bring them, which is not many, they're required to have them off and in their backpack. They should be silenced. And they know that when they enter the building, they go off, because some of our kids say, parent or adult wants to know I need it if I'm a walker. When I exit the building, they can turn them on and connect with the adult we're supposed to if it's a walk home. During the day, they're off and silenced and zipped in the backpack.
Laura, just to clarify too, can you specify where backpacks are located during the day?
Sure, we don't have lockers that are locked up, so backpacks are in classrooms and cubbies. Classrooms are locked generally, but that's where they're kept.
Any of the other elementary principals, is there anything different you'd like to add? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I've actually heard some positive feedback from some high school students, which just kind of surprised me, but they are pleasantly supportive. A little bit of feedback I've heard, I don't know if this how we handle stuff like this, but for things like newspaper, yearbook, perhaps some art classes that may involve mixed media or things of that nature, like how does that fit into this policy? But overall, I've heard things have been well received.
In relation to that last part, if it's something that's being used for an educational purpose and the teacher allows it, it's permitted. We made sure that that was included in the language that's in the high school handbook. In relation to your question about we heard what's happening in the buildings, but in the elementary handbook, under personal communication devices, and this is the same for all elementaries except for Grizzly Academy, it's cell phones, smartwatches, electronic games, or other electronic devices are not permitted during school hours. Personal devices brought to school must be turned off. The security of any personal device brought to school is the sole responsibility of the student. That's what's in the student handbook.
Did we have legal take a look at our policy versus the other?
I have not yet. We can, though, once. I thought that we'd wait till we had.
Okay.
I envision that there'll probably be some type of revisions to the policy, so I thought I'd wait till we actually had those before I.
Because I, as you read it, you can kind of eyeball and say, yeah, that looks pretty good, but I'd like to just have an opinion to make sure. A couple of things I've heard from some high school students, and I don't know if it's a discrepancy in how the handbook is written versus how it's being carried out, but I think it was clear in the handbook at the high school that they can use them during lunch, and I've heard from multiple sources that the kids were, at least these kids were under the belief that they weren't allowed to use them at lunch, so I just draw that to the attention that, I'm not sure what the discrepancy is, whether they didn't understand, they didn't hear it correctly or whatever, but sometimes we see that. I'm glad you mentioned some issues and with the elementaries as well, that the kids can, the backpacks at the elementaries are in the rooms, and the kids at the high school can carry backpacks. And what I'm getting at is that, the most recent shooting that happened, school shooting, was identified on the news that because kids had their cell phones with them, they were able to maybe potentially reduce the horrific nature and results of what had happened. And, not that I ever want to think there or go there, but, the thought of, as a safety concern, I'm fully behind avoiding, distractions with the cell phone use, and certainly the bullying and things like that, the mental health aspects of all of that. But it just brought a different light to me when, as I was watching the news and seeing those kind of things. So I guess I'm not as concerned about, I still wanted to raise it, but I guess I'm not as concerned about that with how we may be operating the policy if, there is at least some potential for access in a situation like that. Understanding that, we have those emergency phones and the teachers can do things like that, but that may not be the only or available option in case something like that happens. So those were kind of my thoughts on this at that point.
The Grizzly Academy language is on page 15 of our handbook, and it does look a little different, but if you're having it reviewed, I think ours is different because of the proposal to go K-12 next year and kind of looking at that globally, but ours probably will need another set of eyes and attention to what that language, so that it can reflect K-12, but it is on page 15 of ours and talks about cell phones and any electronic devices. So just want to make sure that's stated right.
Dr. Suber, can you address, just to make sure we're clear, what Vice President Gordon talked about this lunchtime? It is accurate to state that cell phone use is permitted in the cafeteria when students are eating lunch? And are there reminders happening for students, or can we make it a reminder for students to make sure that wherever the discrepancy came from, it gets cleared up? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the language is pretty black and white. It pretty much says, there's no debt you can use during lunch. And I just wasn't sure. And I heard from 5 different kids from different sources that, we can't even use them at lunch. And I think, well, I'm not so sure that that's correct. So I'm glad we were talking about it tonight. Yeah. Okay. You know more than I do.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Connor wanted to share.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I have a unique perspective coming from the high school as a student, seeing this policy be implemented in my senior year compared to like the other 3. First was just the whole lunch thing. I'm looking at an email from August 23rd where Dr. Suber does state in an email like what the Wi-Fi password is and that students are allowed to use them solely at lunch. I believe we've already gotten that email that was completely school-wide, but I have seen like both sides of the coin from students as to what they like and don't like about this this phone ban. First, I think that I've heard from a lot of people, surprisingly, that we do feel like when we are in classrooms working, that we see a benefit with it. Because it's not just ourselves being able to keep that phone away and being like encouraged to, but also other people keep their phones away, and I think that just overall, I've heard a lot of like benefits from that as well. But on like the flip side, I've seen a couple of just like inconveniences that people have brought up through like just the language that was used and how this policy was explained to us as a student body and teachers as a whole. It was portrayed as a complete cell phone ban, except for again at like lunch, that didn't include those like educational like ways out. So things like CCP programs we have trouble signing into because we need our phones to sign into them. When we have like work calls or family members that reach out to us, we have no way of knowing or getting back to them. Those are just more inconveniences. But I think that like the biggest thing that I saw from this as a negative is a lot of students are dropping classes in order to leave the building so that they're able to use their phone rather than sitting in a class or study hall that they rather wouldn't want to be in. So things like study hall, kids are really discouraged to go to now because they simply don't have anything to do, especially towards the beginning part of the school year, and then they're dropping classes in order to leave, or they're finding ways to get out of school so that they can use their phone or just do something else because so many of their friends have left as well. And I think that that's just like both sides of the coin. There's definitely positives and there's definitely negatives to it. And just as a board, if we could just work on especially revising that language and making it clear to like teachers that educational like ways out are allowed very much so, then that would help.
Yeah, so that's still an issue, Connor?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to pull, while there's other conversation, I'm going to pull what's actually in the high school handbook. And I know that it's been in a couple, we definitely can do this. But I know that there was an initial communication that went out from the high school in early August that did not include the full language that was in the handbook that was board approved. That part that was missing included the part about educational use. So there was a correction email that was sent out the next day that did include that. And so if that's still something that we're challenged with, we definitely will make sure that our staff understands what can and can't be done. But the language in here where it lists the exceptions, one of them listed is that if a teacher allows it for an educational use, that is permitted. So if we shouldn't have people that can't get into college credit plus stuff because a teacher thinks that they're not allowed to have a student use a phone if that's truly what's needed to access. So that's really helpful to hear. Thank you. Yeah. A student may use a cell phone when a teacher approves for a specific learning activity or educational purpose in the classroom. That's on page 18 of the high school student handbook.
I guess I would ask then why we don't allow that in study halls if you are, to Connor's point, have nothing to do or want to log into your CCP.
Yeah.
Good point.
Okay. Any other comments, thoughts on this?
I just think it's important to have as much consistency between the buildings as appropriate, you know, where I know obviously there's probably going to be such circumstances that you need something more strict in some of the different levels, but I think overall in the general, what we're writing in the handbook should be very consistent from level to level as much as possible.
Any other thoughts here?
I wouldn't want to confuse the policy, but is there an opportunity, I guess I'll ask Dr. Suber, for this to be part of PBIS where you could earn a day as a school?
You're talking too soft.
I said I wouldn't want to confuse a policy, but would there be an opportunity to potentially earn a day through the PBIS, the behavioral, like as a reward? Thanks.
So if it's okay, maybe what I'll do is take this feedback, make some revisions to what the current policy is, bring it back for further discussion at the next meeting, and then get direction from you. We definitely will do a legal review. I just prefer to wait to do that till we're comfortable with what we think, so we're not paying to have them do it twice. So.
We don't want to pay lawyers.
No, but we definitely want to make sure that they agree.
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
So. Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point in our agenda, we have the opportunity for public participation. If anyone would like to address the board, they have an opportunity to address for 3 minutes. Thank you, Mr.
Is there a microphone, as there was? Just this? Okay. Okay, it may be working. I kind of hear my own echo. So my name is Matthew Ascenti. I live at 432 Wolf Avenue. I have a 6th grader at CIS, and I have a 3rd grader at Valley View. I was here last month to express how deeply concerned I was about the LifeWise Academy and how it had insinuated itself into our schools. I brought my concerns about the erosion of separation between church and state to the August school board meeting, and afterwards Superintendent Hill kindly emailed me some information regarding prior discussions the school board held on the subject on March 11th and May 13th. Here are some of my ongoing concerns. The policy which permits out-of-school religious education was optional. You, President Stevens, stated several times that the school board would not normally consider an optional policy, but Andy Hill incorrectly believed it to be required and implemented it without consulting the rest of the board or holding a public vote. Votes that were held on the subject were simply to clarify which times would be permitted, lunch and recess versus learning times such as music and art. To my understanding, a vote still has never taken place. It just happened. You made it just happen. Andy Hill explained that he had multiple private conversations with representatives from LifeWise about implementing the program. When you consider that none of those conversations took place publicly, or perhaps even with the rest of the school board, it's impossible to ignore that this may not have been simple ignorance or incompetence on his part. It may have been a concerted, deliberate effort by the superintendent to evade normal procedures to guarantee the implementation of the program while working directly with LifeWise. Now, I may be wrong in mischaracterizing this. I certainly would love to assume positive intent. Nothing would make me happier. However, I think we can all think of at least one very good reason why you have lost the trust of Wadsworth parents. Mr. Hill further assured me that the school would not be promoting LifeWise. I specifically brought to him my concern that Wadsworth City buses might be used, and he eagerly dispelled that notion. However, you are promoting it. Right now, anyone can go to the wadsworthschools.org website and scroll to the Flyer Central on the homepage to find that someone has carved out a special section for LifeWise. This directly contradicts the guidelines you've published on your own website, right there in the Flyer Central section. The very first criteria flyers must meet to be published is that, quote, distribution of flyers may be authorized if the material is related to a current course of study offered by the school. It further states that it will be distributed only to students participating in the program. By publishing it right there on the website, it is being promoted to students who are not participating. And unless there's some radical change, I don't believe religious indoctrination is a part of school criteria, school course of study. Of course, this contradicts the internal guidelines, which you are all actually using, in regards to the distribution of flyers. A form sent to me by Mr. Hill says, quote, the superintendent may exercise his discretion when approving flyers and may consider the service advertised and whether it conforms to the standards of the district and its educational mission. Superintendent Hill, so it sounds to me like Superintendent Hill believes that LifeWise is adhering to Wadsworth educational mission and made sure they got in without consulting the school board or Wadsworth parents. Our public schools should be 100% unequivocally prohibited from supporting this program with any resources. They can't and don't provide busing shouldn't facilitate the distribution of flyers or promote the activities in any way. And I would take it a step further to assert that the schools shouldn't even be providing front desk resources to help organize the departing children.
Thank you, Mr. Asante. Appreciate you speaking up.
Thank you for your time. I look forward to returning next month to continue this discussion.
Thank you. As you mentioned, our board spent a number of sessions talking about the religious time for release instruction, including a legal review to ensure that our current policy is in accordance with law.
Yes, but it was implemented by Superintendent Hill without discussion. He even apologized for it in one of those meetings. So don't try to gaslight me that you all had plenty of time to discuss it. He implemented it, it got implemented, and then later you all had some discussions on how to mechanically implement the program.
Thank you, Mr. Asante.
Is it possible to comment on what did
Absolutely.
happen? So, I can provide information if it's needed, but when the policy and what was discussed at the meetings referenced was the process that our policy committee went through back in 2016, I believe. The policy committee, through me, then makes recommendations to the full Board of Education. There's no district policy that gets put into place without formal board approval. So in I believe it was 2016, I don't have it in front of me, but in 2016, there was a first reading and then a second reading and adoption of that said policy. I didn't implement anything unilaterally. Then when we had that discussion here more recently this year, there was also a first reading at one meeting in June, I believe, and then a second reading with adoption for the policy revision at the July 1st, if I'm not mistaken, meeting. So there was not anything unilaterally implemented. It's true I did apologize, and I went through the whole thing with the Neola part. In regards to the flyer guidelines, I did consult a year ago our legal counsel in regards to what LifeWise had submitted through the process for flyer distribution. And I followed back up and asked again this year to make sure that we were following what is supposed to happen in regards to that. We have other things like the Good News Club that flyers have been distributed on through that same process for years, and both times our legal counsel has advised that the process being followed, as President Stephen noted, is what is allowed. So just to clarify, I understand that this
You gave
recording...
yourselves permission to break your own rules. Is that right? You gave yourselves permission to break the rules that are published on your website. It says on your website that it is for school curriculum activities. This is not such a thing. So you consulted, I didn't give a crap who you consulted, because you're breaking your own rules to get this on the website, to promote it. So you can obfuscate that however you want. That is, at the end of the day, what you're doing. You publish rules, they're on the website, and then you break them.
It sounds like a review of our rules on our website is in order, so I appreciate that, Mr. Asante. Is there anyone else who would care to address the board this evening? Okay, we will move on with action consent items. Dr. Hill.
Sure. This evening, I have 24 items for your consideration under action consent. The couple of note, one item 24 came out on the addendum today and was in relation to an esports agreement for our middle school team to be able to compete this year. Also wanted to make note of item 3, donations from the Medina County Health Department. We had an anonymous donation of $500. The Ohio Department of Health and the Wadsworth Band Boosters. Continue to thank them for their support of our school district. So Without any further ado, I recommend to you action consent items 1 through 24, 24 being from the addendum issued earlier today.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. Mr. Beamer?
Jill Stevens,
Aye.
Tim Beck,
Aye.
Gary McComas,
Aye.
Julie Beatty,
Aye.
Amanda Gordon.
Aye.
Moving on next, personnel consent items. I have items 1 through 6 for your consideration tonight. On the addendum this afternoon, we added at 1B, number 12, a non-teaching employee, Angela Massarelli. We added 2 classified substitutes, numbers 10 and 11, and 3 volunteers, all under action item number 1 with personnel consent. So at this time, I actually want to make a note. Later on, you'll be officially asked to consider ratification of certain resignations. So in employment, John Burton is coming back to help us with the high school science teacher opening we have. We thank him for his willingness to do that for us. And then under the resignations, thank all of those for their service to the district. Wanted to note Jason Jury, longtime science teacher here, and wish him well in his new career. And then Tom Oplinger, one of our maintenance members, is retiring here at the end of the calendar year. So we thank Tom for his service to the school district. So at this time, I recommend to you personnel consent items 1 through 6 with the addendums noted.
Thank you. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Thank you. Mr. Beamer?
Tim Beck,
Aye.
Gary McComas,
Aye.
Julie Beatty,
Aye.
Amanda Gordon,
Aye.
Jill Stevens.
Aye.
Next is a separate action item. It's a recommendation to authorize the use of Retzel and Andrus, a legal professional association, on an as-needed basis.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Beaver?
Gary McComas,
Aye.
Julie Beatty,
Aye.
Amanda Gordon,
Present and not voting. Please mark that I recuse myself from all consideration in this matter.
Jill Stevens,
Aye.
Tim Beck.
Aye.
Thank you. And motion to approve standalone action item D1?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Beaver?
Julie Beatty,
Aye.
Amanda Gordon,
Aye.
Jill Stevens,
Aye.
Tim Beck,
Aye.
Gary McComas.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to items of the treasurer. Doug?
Thank you. My only item tonight is to accept your August financial reports as presented.
Thank you. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Thank you. Mr. Beamer?
Amanda Gordon,
Aye.
Jill Stevens,
Aye.
Tim Beck,
Aye.
Gary McComas,
Aye.
Julie Beatty.
Aye.
Thank you. And Ms. Gordon, you have a legislative update?
Yeah, we may have noticed that there's a big election coming up in November, so our friends at the state are still on recess, but the House has announced 4 session dates that are going to happen before year end, if I don't switch my phone here. So November 20th, which is after the election, then December 4th, 11th, and 18th. They have 3 additional dates if they need them, and then the Senate is coming back a week earlier on November 13th. So I'm going to check with Sharon Ray and then Senator Dolan, who happens to be a former classmate of mine, just to see what they think might be hopping on the heat train, if you will, before the end of the year, and I'll report that next month. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to board member items. And Connor, this is where we usually start with you, so if you'd introduce yourself as our board student member for 2024-2025, and let us know what's going on.
Will do. So my name's Connor Gogler. I'm a current senior at Wadsworth High School, and I've been going to Wadsworth since I was born. Just a little bit about me that I do up at the high school. For all 4 years, I've done speech and debate. I've qualified to state 3 times and went to Des Moines for nationals just last year. I have competed on the cross-country team all 4 years, running all of them with some injuries here and there. Then I've been a member of the Environmental Club, Philosophy Club. I've been a peer mentor, helped all the freshmen get introduced to the school. I work on the executive board for the National Honor Society, and I'm also a member of the Student Council. And then I'd like to get into just kind of what's been going on at Wadsworth High School since the year started. So on August 22nd, we introduced everybody to the high school. We were proud to open our doors not only to the new class of 2025, which in my unbiased opinion is the best senior class of the last 4 years, but also the new incoming freshman class of 2028. And then alongside these students, we welcomed several new staff members, including our new 2 assistant principals, Ms. Romano and Mr. Sullivan. And along with that, we've introduced our new teachers, Nick Common, Cole Edgel, Doug Miller, and Josh Wilson. Then with some of the events that have been going on, most of it has been planning and getting ourselves all on our feet. From student council to NHS, staff and students have been working to kick things off as the school year starts up. Though most groupers are still planning, as I mentioned, the Hope Squad announced their Spirit Week from September 16th to September 20th, and the students voted for their homecoming theme to be the Great Gatsby this year. Then simultaneously, programs like Miss Beal's Big Brothers and Big Sisters are currently looking for volunteers, and over the last month, the speech and debate team has held tryouts, along with auditions being held for the fall play. Then looking to sports, in case you haven't noticed, our football team is on a good winning streak right now, currently 3-0, beating Barberton 42-0, New Albany 42-21, and Medina 51-7. And this puts us at number 28th in the state and ranks us number 7 out of the D2 schools. Then along with that, senior nights are approaching fast for all of our fall sports. Quickly to go through them, golf, the girls has their senior night on September the 12th, with the boys being on the 23rd. Tennis has theirs on September the 17th. Volleyball has theirs on October the 3rd. Cross country on October the 7th. Soccer, boys, senior night will be on October the 10th, with the girls being on the 12th. And then football and cheerleading both having their senior nights on the 25th. Then just kind of to all sum it up, I'm really honored to be given this position. I'm really grateful to be able to represent the school on the board with all of you guys. I'll be back in October with more as we get on our feet more at the school, and I look forward to being able to represent the student body and just having an overall great school year.
That's awesome. Welcome.
You're hired.
Yes. Grizzly Futures, right. Julie?
I want to welcome everybody back to new school year. Want to focus in on, been reading all of the newsletters that have been coming our way from our elementary schools, and a lot of them are already starting their fall events, carnival events, and a lot of them are sharing how their fourth graders are helping their young preschool kiddos and kindergartners coming into the building. So I love that leadership is starting at such a young age. I think that's really important. And I was going to mention at the high school about needing volunteers for Big Brothers and Big Sisters, but I also noticed that the school counselors and intervention specialists are starting their sharing of information with freshmen and sophomores on SOS, signs of suicide, and some other mental health issue advocacy during their IE periods in the sophomore grades. So again, lovely to see. I really enjoy following the middle school and CIS's Instagram page, because you get to see all of the fun stuff that's going on there as well. And I just want to thank the community thus far. We received our first couple of needs through the neighborhood Bridges Wadsworth organization that is just kicking off, and so we are steadily filling those needs, and we'll be getting that back to the families that have asked for some help. So I just welcome everybody back. I hope it's going to be a great school year, and that is all I have.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks for your leadership at Neighborhood Bridges. That's exciting. Tim?
Yeah, just a couple of things. It's pretty cool to see all the students coming out from CIS to sign the beam that will be in place here pretty soon at the new building. Very exciting things happening in the district, and I know it's going to be pretty incredible for that group of fifth graders who will get to have the last year at the old building and the first year at the new building. So excited for that class. One thing I was just going to mention is our drama department. I've heard that the November family show, Wrinkle in Time, and the December Christmas Carol shows. They start practicing, I believe, tomorrow. So mark your calendars. Look forward to some great things from our drama department later this fall.
Thanks, Tim. Gary?
Just want to welcome everybody back. It seems like from where I sit, the school year has started off fairly smoothly. So it's good to see everything back in movement. Fall is probably my favorite time of the year. So love all the sports getting started. And so just wish a lot of luck to all the sports teams, everybody's participating in anything extracurricular. It's just nice to see everything going on and the buzz happening. And here's to a good, safe school year to everybody.
Thanks, Gary. Amanda?
Yes, I'd like to welcome you, Connor. I think you're going to put us all to shame, so I'm going to have to, I have to up my game here, but welcome and really glad to have you aboard. As I was looking at the agenda, and if you look at that list of volunteers we have in that little number E under, or letter E under B there, it just strikes me again, how many incredible people we have and volunteers at all levels to really help make this district go. And I'm just amazed every year as you look at that, and then we add more as the year goes on. So, thank you in advance to everybody that volunteers to help us at various levels. Want to congratulate Tim Campbell as he's starting his new role as athletic director, and we got our first big home football game taken care of on Friday night with the Salute the Troops, which was always incredible, and thanks to everyone that helped work to put that together. Little soggy. I do want to identify especially the band. Medina played, and it was raining, and that was okay. And then it was time for our band, and I swear to God, the rain kicked it up like 20 notches, and the wind was going sideways, and I was holding on to my umbrella, and out came our Grizzlies, and they didn't miss a beat. And so, kudos to them. I texted Dana to give kudos to the kids that they really did a terrific job in a very difficult situation. So here's to a great year, and that's all I got.
Thanks, Amanda. Congratulations to our Student of the Month, and thank you to our principals for once again supporting that program. We're only 12 days into the year, so thank you for the teachers for that nomination too. And those have to be exceptional kids to get noticed 12 days in, so that's great. I was going to recognize the countless volunteers, countless because I didn't count them, and the number of supplemental contracts that we have. So that again speaks to the willingness of our community and our staff to step up to needs, which is appreciated. Right before this meeting, we toured the new intermediate building, so that was super exciting. That's well on its way, and thank you to Doug, Andy, and to Steve Moore for making sure that gets exactly where it should be. Really excited for our next tour. There'll be walls and everything. And then congratulations to our Grizzly Academy for being a finalist for the Rosie Awards for this year. Well done, Erin.
Yay! I was going to ask to add that.
There you go.
Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Wonderful honor.
I don't remember the date. Is it soon?
September 25th.
September 25th. All right, fingers crossed, September 25th. Okay, if I can have a motion for ratification of the resignations.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Beeman?
Jill Stevens?
Aye.
Tim Beck?
Aye.
Gary McComas?
Aye.
Julie Beatty?
Aye.
Amanda Gordon?
Aye. Thank you. Now, this time we'll recess into executive session, and we will not return to discuss matters of employment and matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or rules or state statute. If I can get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you.
There we go.
Second.
Tim Beck?
Aye.
Gary McComas?
Aye.
Julie Beatty?
Aye.
Amanda Gordon?
Aye.
Jill Stevens?
Aye. Thank you.